Hi, little sprouts. In this book, we're going to learn how boats can float on water. Our book is called Why Does It Float? A Just Ask book. Look at that big boat. It stays on top of the water. It floats. And the little boat floats too. But this doesn't float. It went right to the bottom. It hit the turtle. He says, "Ouch, what's happening?" "I wonder why. Why does the big boat float and why doesn't the rock float?" Well, that's a hard question to answer. Think about that. The boat is much bigger than the rock. So why does one float and one sinks? We need to do some tests to show you. The tests are called experiments. Experiments? Look at this jar. I will put water in it. See the water line I drew that shows how high the water is in the jar? There's the line that shows where the water goes to. Put this boat in the water. When something is put into the water has to move to make room for it. Look at the water go up above the line. So they put the boat in and the water has to go up because it's making room for the boat. No two things can take up the same space at the same time. The water had to rise higher to make room for the boat. The boat displaced or moved enough water to make room for itself. Displaced? Oh, I know. The boat took the place of the water. Now we have to study weight. We have to study the weight of the water and the weight of the boat. We have to weigh the water, just the water that was displaced. So just the water that's above the line. That's the amount above this water line. Then we have to weigh the boat. Look, the water and the boat are exactly the same. When they stay even on this type of scale, that means they have the same weight. This boat and this amount of water weigh the same. Because the water and the boat weigh the same amount, the boat floats. That's part of the reason why things float. Let's do another experiment. I'll put this block of wood in the water. The wood sinks until it has displaced enough water to equal its weight. Then it floats. The water underneath the wood pushes up on it. This pushing up of the water is called buoyancy. That's a big word. Say it with me. Buoyancy. That's the water pushing up on an object. See this heavy old piece of iron? It sinks to the bottom. Let's change the shape of the iron. Let's make the iron into the shape of a pan. Mr. Raccoon says, "I can help." Can I help? Here, how's that? That's good. Let's see if it will float now. See, he changed it from a flat piece into kind of like a pan shape. When the iron was made into a pan, its shape was changed. Now there's room for air in the pan. The pan covers a bigger space of water. Its shape helps it to make it float. There it is, floating. Amazing! Big boats are also made in a shape that has lots of space for air inside. The shape of the boat displaces a large amount of water in a big ocean or lake. That's why big boats can float. So it displaces water, the shape allows for air, and it helps with its buoyancy. Now drop your rock into the water. The rock sinks right to the bottom. It will not float. Do you remember why? Well, the rock is too heavy. The rock cannot displace enough water to equal its weight, and there's no air inside the rock, so the rock will not float. Now I know why it floats, and we do too.